5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And you know I had to tell him. Yeah. The earth is flat. Bro, you need to check your facts. I got high up through the roof. And I landed on the moon. The moon flat too. In reality, everything is just in 2D. Like a video game from 1983. I'm side scrolling up and down the street while y'all sleep. Call me B.O.B. cause I don't see the curve. Messing up my vibe, yeah, you got a lot of nerve. Read a book, nah, I don't wanna learn. Read a book, nah, I don't wanna learn. They say that we are king. For me and my homies, we don't say it, we just pray it. I'ma leave it, nah, I'ma stay it. Do your research, how much I gotta say it. Earth is flat. Bro, you need to check your facts. I got high up through the roof. And I landed on the moon. The moon flat too. In reality, everything is just
Recording in progress.
like a video game 1983. I'm side scrolling up and down the street while y'all sleep. Y'all sleep. Y'all sleep.
Flatoberfest 2021 is almost here, and it's happening in historic downtown Spartanburg, South Carolina. This is a great opportunity to meet other flat earthers, connect in real life with online friends, and interact face-to-face without restriction, just as the creator intended. This year we have 2 full days of events planned for you of presentations and live music. Featuring Marty Leeds, MartyLeeds33.com, Bob Nodell of Globebusters, Jason Lindgren of Secrets of Saturn and Pro777Radio.com, and ODD TV will be performing live. Mike Williams from the Sage of Play Radio Hour at sageofplay.com. Flat Earth Intel with Corey Kell. And some of your other favorite content providers will be there. More to be announced soon. Go to flatearthfestivals.com/Flatoberfest 2021 for information, updates, and tickets. Are you single? Are you a flat earther?
Yes, I am.
Are you going to Flatoberfest 2021?
Why, yes.
Do you want to meet other flat earth singles?
Why not?
Then you should participate in the secret mingle for single flat earthers. A little something I'm putting together for FE singles who are going to Flatoberfest 2021. This is the perfect opportunity for you to meet like minds face to face in a friendly environment with no pressure. If you're going to Flatoberfest 2021, there's no extra cost. Go to flatearthfestivals.com/secret mingle for details. I hope to see you there. Cheers!
Hey, what's going on? It's Mikey J, and you're watching KGUP Presents right here on, well, YouTube. We're live for the first time. Oh, very nervous, and because it is my very first time doing it live. And thank you for your patronage and being here and watching it with us today. And just before we get started, I wanted to say, we have these new T-shirts, and I love this shirt especially because it's kind of an Easter egg for me. If you notice, there's a astronaut, and then there's the picture of the flat Earth. So if a lot of people just won't even see it and notice it, so you have to like really point it out. And plus, it has the rainbow on the shirt itself, so it has everything on it. So I'm pretty excited for today's show for two reasons, and that's because we are live for the first time, and I kind of watching the live chat, so I may be distracted from time to time. But and the other point is that we have a legend on the show. For the past 4 years, she's really made a name for herself. You may know her from the hit show. She's a co-host on Strange World with Mark Sargent. She has her own shows, including Unveiling This Realm and Bitches Brew. And, of course, she's the organizer of Solar Returns and Flatoberfest, which is coming up this October. So let's bring her on. Hopefully we don't have any issues with the video. But, yeah. And we do have an issue, which is not surprising. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Oh, there you are. Finally.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have an echo, do we?
I do hear an echo from you a little bit. I don't know if everybody else hears an echo. If they don't, I'm fine the way I am.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of an echo. Hopefully not. But it's finally great to finally meet you. I've been, watching your stuff for quite a while, and I discovered you on Glowbusters. And then during that whole fiasco when I think Bob got his first suspension, and it was dark for about 30 days, and Jaron had his second strike, and I was like, oh my God, I have nothing to watch. So I was like looking up other flat earthers, and then I discovered you and started watching your stuff.
Right on. Well, thanks. I certainly love Glowbusters and Jaronism. I started watching them when I first got into Flat Earth, so I love them.
Oh yeah, there's an echo on your side, they say. How do I fix that? There's always something when you live stream. Let's see, desktop audio. Yeah, and I was listening to a lot of Austin Whitsitt Gets It, and he was keeping me busy before he started getting all his strikes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are kind of migrating over to other platforms because of the it's just that the censorship is just so bad. And how are you guys handling it?
We're handling it, as best we can. We've been moving a lot of our stuff over to Rockfin and Odyssey, and I still stream on Twitch, but I've just been, starting to stream on YouTube and then turning it off at a certain point and moving things elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, so far I have it on Odyssey, but I think eventually I'll go over to Rockfin. I'm still waiting for my first strike, which might happen today.
Well,
yeah, it's always an experience to find things out, and you get an email in the morning, and then your video's gone.
Right. I've woken up to many of those emails.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, let's start from the beginning. Let's really learn about you and what led you to becoming a flat earther, because, before 4 years ago, what were you doing before you got this information?
Well, I got into Flat Earth more than 4 years ago, but I didn't make a channel or start making videos until a couple years later, maybe about a year and a half later. But before that, I was just being a stay-at-home mom. That's all I was doing. I had small, very small young children and a dog, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and that's what I was doing. And I was when I had just moved to North Carolina, and I was really amazed at how clear the sky was here. And that's one of the things I talk about in my first videos, because it was great. I was like, the air is so clean, everything is so clean, and then it rained all the time. Everything was just so lush. And that was, I moved out here in 2011, and then 2014, that summer of 2014, I remember it being almost like a really a bad drought. There was even ads in the paper that talked about, oh, if you're a farmer and you've lost money due to crops, the government can give you money and blah, blah, blah. And that was also the same time when I had started seeing the spraying going on, the stratospheric aerosol spraying, right? Or, you know, what they call chemtrails, whatever, however you want to refer to it. They're obviously modifying the weather. They admit that they modify the weather. There's patents on modifying the weather. So clearly they were doing that, but everybody doesn't pay attention. Nobody ever looks up. But I just really, being able to be at home all the time and just being there with my children, I was able to really pay attention to things like that in a way that I hadn't been before when I was working full time and I was on that daily grind. And it made me realize, wow, you know, that's one of the things that keeps a lot of people from seeing it. They're just too busy trying to keep their head afloat. Most people don't even have the time to look. They're like, oh, can't be bothered. I still got to pay my bills in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think I discovered about the chemtrails probably around 2006. And now it's because I was listening to Alex Jones at that time, and you know, he was talking about all that stuff, and that's before I thought he was kind of crazy. I think it was around the time, right around the Hillary Trump election, that I kind of stopped listening to him, because it just seemed like the same stories over and over, and nothing was coming true. And you know, I didn't, you know, I take that back. I did listen to Alex Jones during Trump's presidency, and you know, it was I don't know, it was kind of weird at that time, and I just felt like he was just I don't know, what do you call it, virtue signaling to his own base.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, they do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he was doing that. I'm sure he would never go too far, you know.
Yeah. But
obviously he doesn't.
And I was desperate to find like a different voice that was kind of alternative, and there really wasn't anything out there. Like, I was listening to Ben Shapiro for a while, and Michael Savage and Sean Hannity, and they were just all saying the same thing. And you know, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and you know, it just seemed like he changed overnight, and I don't know, it was just really weird. And it just felt like we weren't getting any information that was like thought-provoking or anything new outside of, you know, what mainstream was allowing us to discover. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. They're never any of those, it's like they look alternative when you start looking at, when you have been looking at mainstream media your whole life, you know, and you start looking at people like that, you're like, wow, these people are saying stuff I would never hear on mainstream media. And they do say stuff that you would never hear on mainstream media, but it certainly doesn't make what they're saying any more true than mainstream media. You know, you still have to look at all this stuff with the critical, even stuff you hear from flat earthers, you have to look at with a critical eye, and you have to verify for yourself, because they don't get it right all the time. But it, you know, and it's not, doesn't necessarily make them all misinformation agents. It just means that they're doing the best they can, and they're not always going to get everything right. Yeah. You know, it's a different, and when you tell them, most of them will correct themselves, or they'll stop saying those things. It's when they keep saying it after you've proven that it's wrong or invalid, that you have to start asking questions,
Yeah. So what was that video that really caught your attention and made you like really like investigate the shape of the earth and stuff? Or
I think it was a flat water, flat earth video. Anyway, he just kept going through all the basic proofs of the flat earth, like water, physics of water, all that basic stuff that, we've all heard about. And then he would just, at the end of each one, he'd just be like, just keep asking questions, And I was just like, listening to him say all this crazy stuff about Earth. And I was like, damn right, I'm going to keep asking questions, man. You're saying crazy stuff. And I'm going to debunk this video.
Yeah.
You start to that's how everybody turns into a flat earther, right? You hear these crazy suggestions and you're like, that can't be right. And then you go and you have to search it out for yourself, verify it. And you will, if you really have a love for truth and you really want to know the answers, then you really can't end up at any other place, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, once you look at all the facts, it's really hard to unsee what you discover, because there is so much information out there. I read a thesis by someone who was getting their degree, and the subject was that a motionless, like geocentric, stationary planet, and that we're not an actual planet. We were just not moving. And so that was like one thing that opened my eyes, like, oh my God, this is all legit, Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah. And
how did you feel when you found out? Were you nauseated? Because I was nauseated. I was like,
yeah. I literally felt sick for about 3 months. And
wow.
I was trying to comprehend everything that I was like learning, because I became instantly obsessed, and because I was trying to disprove the flat Earth theory, and I couldn't. But there was like so many things that kind of like led up to this whole episode, like the Vsauce video of the sun flying through air. It's the video that David always shows. And we're, projecting through space at 1.3 million miles an hour. And we're, in the Milky Way flying at, 425,000 miles an hour. And we're seeing Polaris perfectly because we're on a 23.5 degree axis. And it's just bullshit.
Yeah. It's insanity. And even when you ask people about it, they even say, well, the sun moves across the sky. And you're like, exactly, the sun moves. It's like they even describe it that way.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're supposed to believe.
Right. All right. So let me see. Oh, I was going to tell you about my wife. We started listening to you, and she was like, thank God there's another female out there, because there were so many males all kind of like doing the same thing. And I found Rose 777, and she was just like, yeah, we finally need more women, because she started looking into it too. And she she's been talking about it more than I have, because it's hard to talk about this kind of stuff unless you are very versed in the terminology and all the information. How was your experience when you first started, being open about it? Did you just jump right in
Well, see, that's why I found Flat Earth in 2015, right? Like somewhere in the middle, maybe like August, July, around this time, 2015. And then I spent the next, few months trying to debunk Flat Earth. And then when I couldn't, I started to think, okay, well, how do things work then? Like I can't just go talking to people and say, well, I don't know how things work, but I know it's not what I'm told. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that, as I'm sure many people don't. So I ended up actually first cutting my teeth actually on Facebook and in Facebook groups, because Nathan had that Facebook group that has since been deleted, but it was the Flat Earth Debate Facebook group, and more people started making groups, and then I joined those groups, and I ended up doing a lot of debating on Facebook. Then um, and then, I also made friends with some other flat earthers like Dr. Zach and stuff, because he was doing the thing looking for sun angles, and he wanted someone to help him with a map. And I was like, I don't know how I can help, but I want to help. I want to know where the hell I am
Right.
in this place. Right. So we tried to do that, and that's what I started doing. And then me and Zach hanging out, he made videos already, and so he started encouraging me to make videos, and so then I did. And that's how then in 2017 is when I released my first video, and then from there I just started doing stuff. But yeah,
Wow.
I didn't do it for well over a year. I really wanted to learn as much as I could. I just had so many questions. And then I would have conversations with family members and friends, like my mom. I told my mom about it, and she was like, Karen, you're insane. You're insane. And she started asking me questions, and I would answer some of her questions, and she would say, you know what? That's enough. She's like, I don't want to know that the earth is flat. I can't. She's like, I would throw up if I found out that the earth is flat. And I was like, oh, okay.
How we felt.
Yeah. But it's so funny because, it's like, I would throw up.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's crazy, man. When I found out about it, I thought everybody would want to know. I was like, oh my gosh, we've been lied to. This is amazing. Everybody's going to want to know.
Right.
Nope, they don't want to know. Most people don't want to know. They are like, shut up, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And
I think my mother-in-law is kind of like on that. She was really resistant at first, but my wife, she just like, every time we see her, she like gives her a little information, more information. It's just like slow dripping process, because she's, she watches the news every day. Her husband is very, he's kind of like believes everything that's on Ancient Aliens and thinks everything's, caused by aliens. And he even like, it's amazing how the moon will just perfectly spin. And so we always see the same side. I'm like, do you really hear yourself? That sounds idiotic.
all by accident too,
Yeah.
right? That perfect synchronicity, all by accident.
Yeah. If you really listen to yourself, talk about the earth and space, and we just sound like freaking morons,
You sound like you're talking about a fantasy movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the moon landing was totally, I never really believed it in the first place, but it's amazing how many people don't believe in the moon landing, but yet they still believe we're on a spinning ball.
Yeah.
That amazes me.
Yeah. You know what? When I still lived in Sacramento, California, my first husband had a friend who came to our house one day. I think this was like 2005, 2006 timeframe. And he comes over to our house one day and he goes, the moon landing's not real. And he just starts talking about it. And we're like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, no, you look at all this stuff. He's like, it was fake. The whole moon landing was fake. It's like as if he had like came across something and his mind was blown, kind of like what we do about flat earth, right? But it was about the moon landing. And my husband and I at the time were just like, you are tripping. I never even questioned it. I thought he was crazy, and to me now, Like what he was saying to me that day is so tame compared to the stuff I say now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know? But at the time, I thought, no, man, what are you talking about? Like, just stop. Who cares? Even I was even in that. Who cares? Like, why are you even looking at that? That's what I thought. Because that's how they have set up society to be. They've set it up for you to be completely just self-absorbed and always trying to do what you need to do to, pay your bills and keep a roof over your head and keep up with the Joneses and drive that car and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They put so much distraction in front of you, and then all the crap on TV too, that you don't even stop to think about what really matters,
Right. That's why there's so many sports, and every season is, they're overlapping. And so if you're a sports buff, you have no time to look into conspiracies at all. I have friends
Right.
that just love sports and live for every version, basketball to hockey to football to baseball, and it's just an endless cycle. So you have no time to wake up. So, yeah.
Right. Bread and circus. Bread and circus.
So how did
And I
you-
think
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that's why I woke up when I became a stay-at-home mom. I was busy with children, but at the same time, I had more time on my hands to think. I wasn't thinking about a job or getting something done. I became very focused on myself and my family.
Right. So how did you meet Mark Sargent, and how did you get on Strange World?
Well, the first I met how? Probably through Patricia, maybe Patricia Steer. I actually don't even remember how I very first started talking to Mark. Probably
It's so
some way
long
through
ago.
Patricia. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot's happened in the last 4 years.
Yeah, but the first time we met face to face was at the first Flat Earth International Conference in Raleigh, North Carolina, because I live in North Carolina. So it was very convenient that I was able to just drive there. It was only 3 hours away. And that's where I met Mark for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, we just got along from then on. And we were friends for a while before he asked me. Actually, he asked me to join him as a co-host probably like 8 or 9 months before I actually started doing it. Because I didn't at the time, my channel still only had a couple of produced videos on it, if I don't forget how many, but anyway, I was just producing videos. I wasn't doing live streams very much, and I was still kind of shy about doing live streams and doing regular things, like committing to a regular thing. I didn't want to do it. So
I get that. Like doing this for the first time was very nerve-wracking. Like I did some, private streams, and then I was like streaming with myself as the guest and doing all these just like you're in school. You just kind of practice and hopefully you get it right. And it took me 6 months to get to today. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Because
that's good.
All the settings were just off. Like I just discovered I needed to get a new router, and the settings were just all wrong because I had to set everything to match the graphics card. Because if you don't match it to the graphics card that you currently have, then that's where you're going to have your problems. So anybody out there who's live streaming, who wants to aspire to live stream, that's what I found out.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think it's so important because a lot of people, I mean, especially flat earthers, they just love to chat, and that's what I've noticed.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Because they want to talk to other critically thinking, conscious, sentient beings.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like the people I run into out in, town they're not even sentient. They're just like they're a program,
Right.
running its course. It's so bizarre. now.
What do they call that when you're just kind of like a playable character, but
Yeah,
you're just part of the
NPC,
program? Yeah, NPC, non-playable character.
non-playable character. It's like, yeah, like in the video game, it's the people in the background,
Yeah,
right?
and they all have like part in the game, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so crazy. And we have to play our part while we're out there. We can't just start blabbering, kind of like Austin. Austin Witsit. I mean, he's out there just on the streets, which is awesome. We need more people like him.
Yeah, he's been doing so great. So great. He's so intelligent and so eloquent and just such a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned so much from him last year, with the Book of Enoch. Like, I would always want to explore the Book of Enoch because I studied it when I was going to church. 'Cause I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. And so that was part of the curriculum. I was talking about the Book of Enoch but as I grew up, I kind of forgot most of it. So hearing it through him and then listening to you and just Jack, talking about the scriptures, and I'm like putting myself back in there. So that's a good segue to talk about the scripture study.
The anti-religious scripture study.
Yes, that's it.
You know what's funny is Jack, he called it the non-religious scripture study. And then when the day that we started, I just ineptly put anti-religious scripture study. And he was like, anti. And I was like, is that wrong? He's like, I put non-religious. And I was like, oh, I put it as anti. He's like, it's okay, leave it. And so I just left it. Anti does seem sort of negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about changing it, but at the end I thought no, because I am against religion. I am anti-religion, and
Right.
and I am anti what it has done to the society. So I just left it, and then Jack said he was cool with it. So
I mean, it's true. I mean, religion has grabbled the Bible so much that it's been misinterpreted, and it's by design, really, if you really look into it. And I love how you guys just are dissecting it sentence by sentence. And like, I know it's probably going to take a whole year to get through probably the first half of the Bible.
I know, who knows how long we'll be doing that for, but it's fun,
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and I'm learning from it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be on season 10 before we get to Revelation.
Well, we're supposed to just do the Torah, which is the first 5 books.
Oh, okay.
After that, I don't know if Jack wants to keep going. I may keep going. I don't know, but we're just doing the Torah, which is the first 5 books.
That's cool. So what made you guys want to do that?
Well, mostly because that's been Jack's sort of main focus. Whenever he, before he woke up to Flat Earth, he found this whole thing with religion. Like he just, a series of things, like he was set to become a preacher, right? At a church, and he had his family, like he had relocated his family, and this whole series of events had happened with him where he ended up leaving the church because he found out that they weren't in the primary focus of the church that he was supposedly going to be part of was not truth, right? They would, he talked to them about certain things, and he said, yeah, but the congregation doesn't respond well to that. It would be their response, which means that even though something is the truth, they wouldn't preach that to the people who came to the church because they wouldn't respond well, right? Mm-hmm. Because and so basically he realized that the church was a gatekeeper, and they were taking a part in keeping people in this false belief system. And so then that's when he just started deep diving and making his own translation of the Bible. Anyway, so he and I had a whole bunch of conversations about this stuff, about what certain words really mean and why things were done and why certain things were changed. Like the name of the creator, the tetragrammaton's completely taken out of the Bible. In the King James Version, they just say the Lord, when anybody could be a Lord. They literally took the name of the creator out. So why would they do that? Well, because there's power in a name. And especially if you think about how everything is energy, frequency, vibration, every sound, every word, every name is going to have its own vibration, its own frequency, and emanate its own thing. So if you're saying the wrong thing, are you on the right frequency? Are you sending the right message? I don't know. Did they change it? Did they change it so that everybody, if you verbalized something, your message was a little off? Not to say that it wouldn't ever work, but maybe they scramble it. Maybe they scramble your radar a little bit. Maybe your intent is still good and you know who you're trying to send that message to, but maybe it's not as clear as it could be if you started with the true name of the creator, if you opened that line of communication with the correct frequency rather than a scrambled frequency. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter because the creator is all powerful and knows what's in your heart. But even when you speak things into existence, when you talk about how you feel or what's going on in the day, or, if you start off saying, I don't like this or I don't like that, instead of I like this or I like that, what's that doing? What energy is that sending out? So to me, words have meaning. And if they're putting the wrong words in the place where certain words were meant to be, well, there's a reason for that. What is that? I don't know, but there must be a reason. Why would they do it? Everything they do has a reason. And most of the time it's got more than one reason. It's got two or three.
And that's why flat Earth has been, it's been hidden the same reason that God's name has been removed, or Jehovah. I think it's pretty fascinating, this whole subject. When I first introduced my wife, I had her watch a video by Pillar of Truth. I think it was called Upside Down World, and it's very religious. But when we were driving from California to Dallas, I was like, you have to watch this, because I don't know how to explain why I think the Earth is flat. But if you watch this, you'll have a better understanding where I'm coming from. And so, because I was seeing everything at a completely different perspective. I was just looking at the moon differently. I was looking at the stars differently. And just the world in general. Like we went to the the Reunion Tower in Dallas, which is the highest point in the city. And you could just see for it seemed like hundreds of miles. It was a clear day and it was just completely flat. I'm like, oh my God. And so all of that came rushing back to me after watching that video. And that was like the beginning of my waking and just realizing, like, holy shit, God does exist. And, and that was all I needed. Was that belief returned to me, that because I went through like a period of kind of like questioning if God really existed, because the education kind of does that to you. Films and movies and TV shows, they don't really talk about God at all, so you kind of almost believe that we are alone in this vast universe. But something inside me always knew that there was something out there more powerful than us. Yeah,
I pretty much had that same feeling. I always had a feeling too, and I never really talked about it because I thought it was kind of ridiculous even having that feeling, just probably because of the programming that I was going through growing up, probably because of being in a state school and blah, 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 and they basically try to crush your divine spark from the very beginning. So whenever I had this feeling, I always felt like I was, that something And I can't describe it any other way than something of biblical proportions. You know, how people say something that is literally paradigm shifting, something life changing was going to happen in my lifetime. And even when I was, you know, a really angry teenager who was listening to punk rock and hanging out at the punk rock clubs in the Bay Area and really being anti anything that I am, you know, that I would be for now, you know, just really just being horrible, you know, I wouldn't, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you were just being godless in your nature. Just,
right.
you know, just
So
doing stuff that you wouldn't do if you were truly like going to church every, you know, twice a week.
right. I just I wasn't into any of that stuff. So when I had this feeling that something like that was going to happen, I thought that's really ridiculous. Like, I don't even know if God's even real. Why would I feel like I would be a part of something like that? You know, why do I even feel this sort of like weird impending doom, this constant impending doom? It's like all I can describe it as. And it was in the background. It's not even something I thought about all the time, but every once in a while I would just be like, I feel like I'm waiting for something and I don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I was born in the wrong time, or I felt like I should have been born a long time ago. That sort of thing, you know? Like, am I in the wrong time? What's going on? You know, I just feel like something was off. And then when Flat Earth came, it was like, oh,
It all makes sense now.
That's why, because everything is a freaking lie. That's why nothing seems right, because everything is a lie.
Yeah. And the more I dig into Flat Earth, it's led me to other subjects like the mud floods, Tartaria, and like our stolen history, the world fairs. Like everything's a deception. Like
right.
It's one of the biggest rabbit holes that just leads in so many directions. It's crazy. So when you try to tell people about this stuff, you have to do it in small increments. Otherwise they think you're insane.
Yeah. I find that the Socratic method is you almost can't go wrong with that. When you don't just straight up start telling people, maybe ask them questions like, how do you think the atmosphere stays on Earth if the space is a vacuum? Ask it very innocently, like a child. And a lot of times they'll be like, you know, they'll try to answer you, oh, with gravity, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, we know enough to say, well, if it's gravity, then how come the clouds float in the air? What's that about? Or, you know, how come you can get 10 pounds of helium and it goes up, or you have 10 pounds of steel and it goes down? They're both 10 pounds, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you just have to ask those questions. And then people will go, huh, I don't know.
Yeah, before the rain falls, I mean, cumulatively, I mean, there's like
millions
tons of gallons up there. Tons. Yeah. And it's just by magic that it falls down when it does. It's because gravity can't hold it.
It just becomes too much.
Right. Oh, man. I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to... I hate it when I do that. Let's see. I didn't really have like a whole list of questions. I was just like... just wanted to talk to you about all of this stuff, about what led to like the flat earth and like all these like rabbit holes that kind of like tie in together.
Everything ties together, all of it, right?
Yeah.
Somehow.
It really does.
I'm not even sure how all of it does tie together. I know, how does it tie together? Well, they've lied to us about where we live, and they've lied to us about how this world works, and now they're trying to exterminate us. I don't really know what to say.
whatever happened in the 1800s, I think they're planning to do it again and reduce the population a different way until they get to their goal, like, that
Well, I think
500,000.
technology has given them the tools to where they can just set it up so that people will do it to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's the sad part. And then and I was thinking about this the other day, or was it this morning? Everybody was wondering how come we were able to get flat earth got so big so fast, because really before they started their censorship, before the algorithms were put in place to shadow ban all of us, we were getting a lot of new people very fast. It was really a lot of exponential growth as far as the truth movement went. People came to us very quickly, even through that horrible documentary Behind the Curve.
Oh God.
That, as bad as that was, it did bring people to the truth. It really did. And so, but so when I ask myself, why were we allowed to gain so much momentum? It seems like it was allowed to gain so much momentum because they knew that we would be the ones who would be the most vocal about the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you go out and tell people, the truth about what's going on right now, currently, and then they go, oh, well, you're a flat earther, I can't believe anything you say. And I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, it's the
That's
ultimate
why,
division.
right? They allowed it to build up enough to where now there's this inner conflict between people who are waking up because they're seeing the lies of the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry, and of course the corruption in the government. None of these things are secrets, but a lot of people ignored it until it was literally in their home, literally affecting them personally. And that's the problem, is most people don't look at stuff until it's affecting them personally. They don't, a lot of people lack the empathy to see a situation going on from the outside and speak up and say, you know what? No, that's not right. That's not right. But they just go on with their life. And now it's happening to them. And some of them see it, and some of them have gone sink deeper in the hole.
Yeah, it's amazing to see like this whole paradigm shift, because like the 60s, like everybody was against the government and marching and being rebellious and doing all this stuff. And then even in the 90s, I mean, it was still happening. And, Rage Against the Machine, like I love those guys. And they were anti-government. And now we're trusting every word that they say, and we're believing every word that the media says. And it's like we're living in a bizarre world. Everything's upside down.
Yes, bizarro world, Twilight Zone, and Idiocracy all thrown into a blender and put on high speed.
Yeah. Like I'm very fortunate that I came in and learned all this stuff when I did, because had I came into all this in January of this year, like I probably wouldn't have found anybody, because everyone was just being censored and getting kicked off, and that they're intentionally doing that so nobody wakes up.
Yeah. Now, yes, they let it go for a while, then they put the brakes on, and then they unleashed their secret weapon. And now we're here like fighting an uphill battle. But it's almost enough to make you want to go hide out in the jungle somewhere. Like, screw it, I'm gonna go live in a hut in the jungle and I'm just done.
Yeah, we're prepared to do that. Like I have a bug out bag. We have like heirloom seeds, and if we have to take off, we have a bunch of weapons and stuff. But I really don't want to have to go that far,
That's what I'm saying. Here's my attitude. I don't want to leave Because you know what? I'm just minding my own business. They're the ones who make it suck. How about they leave?
Right.
And there's enough of us here who are minding our own business who would probably have that same opinion that we could make them leave. It's just that people aren't aware of the situation, or you tell them that, then they go, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do if we don't have the government to tell us what to do? Who's going to build the roads? Holy shit. Who's going to run the schools? Who's going to do this? You know what? The same people who do it now, us.
Yeah.
We do. We run the schools. We build the roads. We make this place work. Okay? The roads were being built before there was a government and before there was an income tax. And I think we can still build the roads after, because that knowledge is still going to be here and the material is still going to be here, and the desire and the need will still be here. And anywhere that there is the desire and the need and the knowledge and the ingenuity, then things will happen. And I think it's like people have been so programmed to be reliant on stuff being done for them that they like want to cower and run in a corner at the thought of having to be responsible for themselves. And that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that we have to deal with.
Yeah. Where I live, I mean, all our neighbors, I mean, they all have gardens in their backyard, and so they're growing their own stuff, which is amazing. And it makes me think I need to, really jumpstart our garden.
I got a garden. I got chickens,
Yeah.
I started doing all that stuff too, because, and also another good thing to learn is wild edibles. There's a lot of stuff that grows everywhere that you can eat that most people don't even think of. So really, even in a dire situation, if you have the knowledge, you really don't need to starve to death. Mm-hmm. You don't. You might be dirty, you might smell funky, but you'll be alive, right?
Yeah, I'm surrounded by a bunch of natural water, so I guess I could just take a bath somewhere.
Right? I mean, people are just so spoiled. They're like, how am I going to survive without this or that, blah, blah, blah. Well, you got water. Okay, good. You can drink that water. You see that dandelion outside? Get a bowl and pick a whole bunch of them and eat that, and you're good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
you'll be skinny.
Be prepared. Yeah, we'll definitely be skinny.
You'll be skinny, but maybe some people could stand that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but history does repeat itself if we aren't aware of it, and not in a good way. And the history that's been hidden from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned so much, especially in this last 6 months. This whole pandemic has made me, done so much research that I would have done that a year ago, like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
It sort of forces you to seek out that information, but it's good. This is a good thing, And then as long as we keep doing that, and then we share that information with each other, and we keep trying to help each other out, and we work together, because I think that's key. I think it's important for, it doesn't matter if you think what you think really happened in history, or what if there's a lot of different theories about what the truth really is. Mm-hmm. But I think the most important thing is that people should realize that we've all been lied to, and regardless of what you think the truth is, just know that everybody's pretty much tired of the lies. Everybody wants to find the truth for themselves, and that's the most important thing, right?
Right.
Let's help each other be free of that mental slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need that that addition to the Flat Earth Zodiac and Clock app, so we can link up together. I mean, we have our social media where we can contact and link up with other people, and plus the conferences and all that. you know, because we really need to create a unit so where we have resources and we can come to, get to each other if there is a blackout, and then we can just have like one convergence where we all meet up and like, we can all help each other if there is a cataclysmic event and there's survivors,
Yes. Yeah. Like a home base.
Yeah.
I'll meet you here.
So talk about the Flatoberfest, which is coming up in October. How is the planning for that going?
It's going good. It's going good. Everything's going just as it should be so far. I've got Bob Nodell coming, Mike Williams, Jason Lindgren, Corey Kell, the Flat Earth Intel guy, which that should be interesting. And who else? I'm probably forgetting somebody. I always forget somebody. Baldini's going to be doing something there. ODD will be there. OBL will be there. Myself, DITRH is going to be attending. Witsit will be there. So like 4 of the Globebusters, right? So that's Bob, Baldini, Witsit, and who's the 4th Globebuster? Zach Zabala. He'll be there because him and Cammie do their How the World Works exhibit.
Nice.
Which that's always a big hit, because they bring all the little science gadgets for people to play with. The children love it.
Yeah, that's cool. It should be like a science fair, so you can do all these like flat Earth tests and experiments, like hands-on for the kids, and just like they do at NASA and the science exhibits in the Bay Area. Because you've been to the science. I can't remember what it's called, but it's put on by NASA, where they have like the electricity globe where you put your hands on it and you get to do all this, like cool stuff.
Yeah, well, when I lived in the Bay Area, it wasn't necessarily by NASA, but there was a museum, a natural science museum, or whatever they called it. Yeah, and they would have the big eye of the storm thing, and then the pendulum. And I remember always looking at the pendulum, and it was like some would be knocked off here, some there. It never made sense to me. And I remember thinking, what is this even supposed to show?
Yeah, it's all a bunch of nonsense. Right?
Because they had the pendulum there with the whole circle of the little pegs that they'd stand up, and then they would have it swinging back and forth like it was supposed to knock them off like a clock. Mm-hmm. Except it was never sequential, right? Like there was always some standing up here, some there. It was always really scattered and and then of course later when I found out that pendulums do not move because of the spin of the earth. They move because somebody pulls the pendulum back and starts swinging it. And if it starts to swing the wrong way, stop it and pull it and start it again. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think I went there for 5th grade. Because I lived in Fremont, which is across from San Jose. So I lived there for a few years. And we went there, and that was a lot of fun. But that would be cool to have a flat Earth conference that was like very interactive.
Well, that's what I try to do. I do try to have interactive events. That's why I love having Cammie and Zach there with their How the World Works stuff, because they're both there the whole time. And there's just a table full of crystals and magnifying glasses and ferrocells. And there's a TV. They even have like a tube TV that you can take the magnet up to the screen and watch the magnet bend the light on the TV. Same way that Ken Wheeler does in his video. I mean, it's completely an interactive thing. I love it. It's the best.
Yeah, Cammie's awesome. I saw an interview that she did with Awesome Austin, and that was... I didn't realize how intelligent Cammie was. I mean, she blew me away.
Yes. Cammie she sees a whole lot of stuff. There's things that Cammie was saying to me probably 2 years ago, and I thought I got it. And then I realized 2 years later, I didn't get it. Now I get it. At the time I thought I got it, but I didn't get it. But now I do.
Right. Well, her globe theory, how we are able to see two different polar stars on opposite ends, her theory makes a lot more sense than we're actually on two different axes. And if you understand how the dome works, then light is bending, and so it looks as if there's two polar stars opposite from each other. That was really fascinating.
Yep.
And that was the one thing that I could never answer, because I've had arguments with Globers and, well, how do you explain, how we see the South Pole star? And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't explain it.
Yeah, that one is hard to explain, but I would, but there is no South Pole star like there is Polaris, right? Stuff kind of seems to be turning in a general direction, but there's no actual point that you can pinpoint and say it's rotating around that. So, right. Even when people say that to me, I'm like, okay, show me the point. Show me the star that it's rotating around. I mean, and they wouldn't be able to show you, and it doesn't even matter, because what the lights in the sky are doing make no difference to the shape of the ground, right? You have a pool table, your pool table's flat, and the balls over the pool table are round, You have a basketball court. The basketball court is flat, the basketball is round.
Right.
If
there's water above, it would give an illusion that it's the light projecting is behind, so whatever's reflecting will kind of reflect back, and so at the furthest point it's going to look like it's a fixed star, but we don't know for sure.
Right that, and you can only see things in a circle, or actually more correctly, you have a sphere of vision, right? Because if you're at the center and you look all around you, you can only see in that specific field of view, and that ends up making a sphere. So how much of that is how we're interpreting that light, and how much of it is how much the light works? Right. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. It's silly to argue about the lights in the sky, you guys.
They spin around us. It's closed.
We can't go there. We can't touch them. We can't measure them. I mean, that's another thing. It's like, okay, when people try to tell you, but we know the stars are this, we know the stars are that. Okay, well, let's say I had a box, just a plain old box with no writing on it. And it was, again, it was sitting over there. Can you tell me how big that box is, what the dimensions of it are, how much it weighs, and what's inside of it without going over there and touching the box? Just stay right here. Can you tell me that? No. Nope. Nobody could ever tell you that. But they say that they can do that with these lights in the sky. They're like, oh, we looked through spectroscopy and the light was this color on this day and it was that color on that day, so that means that it's this and that and it weighs this much and blah, right? They could say whatever they want.
Right. As long as you sound intelligent, then that must be the answer.
Right. As long as you make a complicated enough equation that,
right,
exactly, verifies your story, well, then you can win a prize. You can make up a story and write a mathematical equation to go along with it. You too can be a world famous astronomer.
Yeah, just support it with math that just confuses everybody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because I was just looking up how all 70% of all scientific experiments cannot be repeated. And that was a study that was done in 2015. Another was done in 2017. it just keeps getting tested with the same results, 70%. So people are just making shit up.
Yeah.
And making it impossible to repeat. It's like, well, try to repeat this test.
Yeah,
Good
just
luck.
go look on YouTube and try and look up what is it? The Cavendish experiment. Just go look at people trying to repeat that.
No, thank you.
That's funny.
Oh, so I just noticed my wife is in the chat. Speaking of which, she is a singer-songwriter, and I think she was trying to write a Flat Earth song, because I've been adding a bunch of songs on my radio station, and I think I'm up to 6 songs. But yeah, I'm always on the lookout for Flat Earth musicians.
Yeah, right on. Good. She do it. Do it. I just was playing some Chocolate Sand music earlier today. I don't know if
I
you've
heard
seen yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy our flat earth hip hop artists. And actually it's hip hop and rap is actually a very, very good music genre for truth telling, you know, because it's so lyrically driven and you can just blah.
Squeeze out a whole story.
Yeah, you can just lay it all out
Yeah,
and people will be into it.
I subscribe to Chocolate's channel. Chocolate Sand?
Mm-hmm.
Is that? Yeah. So I'm saving that song, and I'm going to put it on the radio station later.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's hard to find good songs that are flat Earth. You know, because we are a little we have a high expectation when it comes to music.
Yeah.
So it's got to blend right in with everything else. So.
Yeah. But we have a lot of talented people. There's actually a lot out there.
Yeah. And actually that song, I think it's Break Beats, and the Tristan, the little kid that came on the song.
Beat Freaks.
Beat Freaks, yeah.
The Beat Freaks, yes.
I've been playing that song. It's so cool.
Yes, love that song.
All right. So what kind of plans do you have for the remainder of this year besides Flatoberfest? You're going to just start working on Solar Returns after that?
You know, I don't know. I actually hadn't decided if I was going to do another Solar Return because it really was not, it was kind of underattended. And everybody who went said that they had a great time and they loved it. And I loved it. I thought it was a blast, but it was really underattended. And I don't know if I should do it again. So I don't know. Maybe I should take a poll.
Yeah. I think, well, maybe because the restrictions were still, you know, the flight restrictions, COVID was still had everything.
COVID was going on. And then I also don't really know if that's going to be the same deal though coming up. I'm even kind of, worried about what might happen in September, but hopefully it'll be okay. I think it should be okay. The universe has been smiling on us every time so far, so yeah, we'll see. But
they will come.
Right. The hotel keeps getting booked up. I keep having to add rooms to the block, and I've sold over 100 tickets already. So people definitely want to come. Everybody's excited. I'm excited. So I just need to, I guess, take it one event at a time. Maybe I'll start looking at places for Solar Return or see if the Shrine Club's open. I don't know. Or maybe I can do it somewhere else. I don't know.
Have it at a Masonic temple. Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, look at Rico. Rico, who's in your chat, he was there at Solar Return. He played drums in the Baldini jam session.
Oh, really?
So he says, do it again. That was the highlight of a tough year for me, Karen B.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to having a Flat Earth conference here in Dallas, but it hasn't repeated. The conferences are very hard to organize. I get it.
They are. And it takes the thing that makes it so difficult is you have to do it way in advance, and it costs a lot of money up front. A
Oh yeah.
lot of money up front and a lot of planning up front. And and so it's very stressful because you're just everything's building up to that one day, and then but once it happens, it's great.
Yeah.
But it's very stressful, these
Well,
big
that's what my
events.
wife used to do. She was an event um, organizer or event. She did sales. So like we worked at a concert venue and we would book different events, a lot of private events. And so I understand how hectic and how hard it is. I mean, I used to book live events for all my award show and music events. And so it's a lot of planning and a lot of headache and a lot of money you have to put up front, 10 grand up right away. You just have to write a big old fat check.
Right?
Or if you're lucky, you can get it for 3 grand.
Yeah.
Unless you get a VFW somewhere for $500.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you know someone who's military, you could rent a VFW, a veterans facility for really cheap. But they're not really in the best locations. Usually it's just a farm.
No, right. I mean, that's like the Shrine Club. It's not VFW, but it was a Shrine Club. But it wasn't, it's just an old building. It was big and it had everything we needed. It had a stage, it had lights, it had a kitchen, bathrooms, everything. And it was great. And they were totally relaxed. They didn't care about the mask thing or the 6-foot distance. And this is, in October of 2020, when people were being really hardcore about that stuff. I was getting having arguments with people in Myrtle Beach, but they were great to us and they loved it. And the woman was all about it. She was like, oh, I know all this stuff is a bunch of garbage. She was all on board. She even had family members who were flat earthers. I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better. The only reason that I didn't do the event there again this year is because they just didn't have any dates in October.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't get it. But I found another place that I think is absolutely perfect. It's going to be a blast. It was more expensive, but hey, what are you going to do? It is what it is. We need to have our gatherings. We need to have these things because, there's a lot of other events that go on. There's other, there's other even conferences that go on. They're like, the Red Pill Expo, Take on the World and stuff like that. But those, like Take on the World is good, but I think that might be a little bit more religious overtone, a little bit more Christian oriented. Not that that's a bad thing. I love Christians. I have Christian friends, but not everybody is into that, So this is sort of like the flat earth one. It's the open one. It's everybody's welcome. Whoever wants to come. It's not overly religious, but it's not completely void of that either. Everybody's Christian friendly. Everybody is okay with everybody else. It should be a very welcoming environment. At least that's my hope. That's what I try to put forward.
Yeah. What's up, Zulu One? What's up, Austin? God, there's just a lot of regulars in here. Regulars that follow your channel. That's awesome. I'm gonna see if I can put up a link so you guys can call in if you want. Let's see.
Oh, thank you, Austin, for sharing that link in the chat. I had not done that.
I don't know why it's not copying the link. I was having issues with that earlier. I couldn't get the couldn't copy the link for some reason. I don't know how you guys do it. I guess after a while, all this stuff just is...
It's a lot of pain and heartache. But
yeah.
You have to go through a lot of pain and frustration. And then you can become a somewhat pain-free,
I've
painless streamer.
I mean, we've all watched Jaren have his issues. For
Man, it's not easy,
no
especially when you got the Adjustment Bureau trying to sabotage you all the time.
Adjustment Bureau.
Yeah, that's just what I call it when things don't go right. It's like, oh, they're messing with me again. It could be, I mean, who knows? It's like you might as well be saying there's gremlins in the computer. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel very fortunate to have moved out of California because I just felt like it was just a prison state. And
Yeah,
God,
I left California too, and I miss it because I was born there. I grew up there. You know,
same.
that's my home state, and I had to leave it. And now I live in the Carolinas, and I have to say that I don't miss living in California at all. The only thing I miss about California is the family that it still remains there.
Yeah, same here. And I'm very thankful my dad was very open to flat Earth because it would be really weird to have a conversation with him and not be able to talk about this kind of stuff. Like he's been watching all my videos and I make suggestions and send him stuff and he sends me stuff. It's funny, when I was 6 years old, he and I went to someone's house and they had a globe sitting on his top shelf and I reached up to grab it and he said, "Don't touch that." I go, "Why?" And he said, "Satan made that." And we never talked about it, but it had always been in the back of my mind. And he doesn't even remember that happening. But, and it's funny is I always been fascinated with globes. Like I always wanted to have one in my house, but I never bought one.
Hmm.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So I guess Jehovah's Witnesses were kind of flat earthers, except they just never openly talked about it. Because we studied scripture. You know, we talked about the firmament and the water separated from the waters below and all that. And I don't know, it's weird. And how my dad had already knew, like, don't touch that. I mean, Satan made the globe. So
That's funny.
yeah. But we never talked about it, and you know, years and years and years later, and I'm like, you know what, Dad, you're right.
So he doesn't remember it happening, but does he deny saying it?
No, he doesn't deny it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you ask him if he still thinks Satan made it?
Oh, he definitely knows Satan made it. I mean, people made it.
Right. There you go. Right on. That's cool.
Yeah. And he's probably watching.
Right on. Shout out to Dad.
Yeah.
It's like there's a woman that I knew too a while ago. Her name was Marlena, and she was lives in Canada, but she's part of a Native American tribe in Canada. And she said that she'd been a flat earther her whole life, that they'd always told her that the earth was flat. She's like,
Wow.
it's always been that flat for us. And she was even a pilot.
Oh, wow. So she saw it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny. I've been meeting people here and there, and they're just open to the topic. They don't look at me like I'm a nutcase. I mean, they're like, "Oh, send me a link. You know, send me the video." And so many people are just. I think people are starting to slowly wake up and realize that we can't trust the television screen. We can't trust what we see in movies. We can't trust the news. And it's all coming together because it's just constant lie after lie after lie. If this whole thing was as deadly as it was, then people would just be dropping like flies all around
Exactly.
us.
Right. But they're not. There's no more people dying now than there were before. In fact, I think 2020 it was less because everybody stayed home.
I mean, look at all the NFL players that were sick and just had to sit out 1 week. It's like, oh, he came back. He's fine.
Yeah. I mean, and then what happened to the flu? Where's the flu? The flu is gone all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They've been inoculating for the flu year after year for dozens of, how many years? And now all of a sudden, randomly, it's gone. It's magically gone.
Yeah. I mean, when have we ever been like really sick and being able to taste our food, or smell something?
Yeah,
Like,
that's the other thing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure loss of taste and smell is standard when you're sick.
right? But because they're saying it on television, it's like they completely forget what life was like before all this.
Yeah, they forget what sickness is like or what symptoms. And all the symptoms are the same. And I started thinking about it. It's like, how many different symptoms do you think your body can possibly exhibit? Right? Basically, every symptom that your body does is your body trying to get rid of some sort of toxin. If you're exhibiting a symptom, it's because your body's healing. What's your body healing from? Well, most likely it's going to be either from some sort of trauma or some sort of toxicity, you know?
If you drink all day long, it's got to go somewhere. It's going to affect something.
Yeah. So how many different things? I mean, the symptoms could be this or that. And it's the same for EMF radiation. It's the same for, this GO thing that they're saying is inside of the magic juice now. And all the symptoms are the same. And basically, it's always your body just trying to excrete toxins. So how do you stay healthy? Don't ingest toxins. Don't allow toxins into your body. Don't get injections. Don't eat, processed, boxed crap. Don't eat junk food. Eat clean, drink clean water, fluoride-free water, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people go to McDonald's every freaking day. And or another person will have, a macchiato in their hand because they went to Starbucks every day. And like clockwork, you see them getting sick, and it's like, well, you're putting that garbage in your body. I mean, what do you expect it to do? It's crap.
Exactly.
You can't process all that fake sugar. It just turns into lard.
Quitting eating sugar too. That was one of the things that I did that probably had the most impact on my health, was not in consuming processed sugar anymore. Like, I stopped putting a ton of sugar in my coffee and not adding sugar to stuff, or greatly reducing my sugar intake. That is such a huge deal.
Yeah, I gave up milk. Now I just drink coconut milk. I still eat eggs, and on occasion I'll eat chicken, but for the most part, I don't eat meat. Like, I had a hamburger yesterday because I still work at a school, and so I took home a burger, and I threw away the patty, and I cooked a veggie burger and put it in there instead.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to last. Because if they start forcing us to get, the V word,
the magic juice.
Yeah, I'll have to find a job somewhere else. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you can see that they're really trying to start a divide between people, because they're implementing all these ways to identify vaccine, people, I don't want to say it, people who've gotten the magic juice versus people who have not gotten the magic juice. Everybody's got to wear a badge. Everybody's going to wear some sort of identifier now, yeah. And then, and now they're even telling you that you need to have both. Some places are telling you need to have 2 different kinds of magic juice. It's like, what are you people thinking? And then, even what they claim is an increase of protection against the COVIDs is like it's like a 1% increase in effect in protection is what they claim. Of course, there is no increase because there is nothing to be protected from.
No.
But what they claim is 1.5% increase. And that's supposed to be like
And how
the
exactly is it
driving factor.
protecting us?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, thankfully, schools they're under like federal, it's under like a federal mandate, so I can still claim religious exemption for now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that'll probably soon change. So that does make me a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. Makes me nervous too. You know, it's why I pulled my children out of public school. I started homeschooling because
Yeah.
they wanted the children to go to school wearing masks and only 2 days a week. And they had to use hand sanitizer and stay 6 feet apart and blah, blah, blah. I was not having that. I was not having any of that. There's no way I was going to send my children to school knowing that that's what they were doing all day. I just couldn't live with myself.
Yeah, I just heard that one of our schools is being turned into a virtual school because there are a number of students that refuse to get the the vacation. I call it a vacation.
Right. Well, they shouldn't be getting it.
Yeah. No, they don't
Right?
need to.
No, because they're healthy. They have no problem getting rid of stuff, and they have beautiful little immune systems that work great.
Yeah. So if worse comes to worse, I mean, I'll put in to get transferred there, and that'll be my last attempt at keeping the job because it pays well and it's a good security, it has a good retirement. So I don't want to give it up too quickly.
Right. I wouldn't give it up. I would stick it out as long as I could because we shouldn't just capitulate,
Yeah.
We shouldn't. Nobody should. Everybody should be, standing up against this stuff and and telling them, I want to come to work. I want to work. I want to do what I've been doing the whole time that I've been here without having to wear a mask because it doesn't help. Nobody should have to do that.
Right.
Or without having to get the magic juice because that doesn't help either.
Because it's magic.
Right? Maybe magic juice is not the right word. Maybe we should call it, I don't know, Satan juice.
Satan's juice.
Satan juice.
God, I want to open up the invite so I can have people call in because I know like Harmon's going to want to come in and Austin and Zulu one, like all those guys. I've tried several times and it won't allow me. That's frustrating. I'll have to figure it out sometime. But it's been over an hour and a half. What do you got planned tonight? Any other shows? You've been doing a lot of shows, by the way.
Yeah, I have been doing a lot.
For a minute, you disappeared.
Yeah, I did because it gets stressful, man. Life happens and sometimes you have to take a little break. But I have been doing more shows because I sort of kind of had like a renewed, drive to keep doing this, to do it more, especially because now that we're starting to get on Rockfin and we found these other platforms like Odyssey and stuff that we can continue to work with for now and still get the message out. It's given me a new motivation because there for a while, YouTube was taking down so many of our videos over the past year because of the stuff that we were talking about. It just really gets depressing and you start to just not want to do it anymore because you just get beat down. They beat you down. Their little algorithms got more energy than you do sometimes. So now that we have other places to go to and other places to talk besides YouTube, I feel a lot better about what I'm doing. And I feel like now I want to do it more and I want to try to, just I just want to keep going. So
Yeah. Well, the one thing that makes me a little like indifferent about going to Rockfin is that we're basically just talking, we're virtual signaling to our own base, and we're really not waking anyone up. I mean, there is an audience there that is still kind of like asleep to everything. They're still like in this like conservative left paradigm.
Yeah, they got a lot of purple pill people over there.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to stay on YouTube as long as possible because I do have a whole audience that still kind of like teetering that.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm not going to abandon YouTube completely, but there's just certain things that just straight up can't be talked about there. And I feel better now about it, having a platform to continue those conversations where I can start it on YouTube. I can still do things on YouTube, like the anti-religious scripture study. Maybe probably Bitches Brew will still be there, but like things like Strange World and Unveiling This Realm, I continually get strikes for, and I don't want to.
Because Mark, he doesn't know how to censor himself.
No, he doesn't. And then when you tell him, you have to be censored, then it like even gets worse. But
yeah, he pokes at it even harder. It's like, bro, that's why the show's going the next morning.
But I like that though. I don't want to make those shows less than what they are just to fit into YouTube's paradigm. They just won't be there. And then that also kind of gives me motivation to think up other things to do on YouTube to drive people to these other places, to still have some sort of way to funnel new people in,
Yeah.
And the other thing too, though, Rockfin has just recently changed it to where you don't have to have an ID or an account to even watch free content on YouTube or on Rockfin. You can go there and view it without an account now. So they just did that this week. So that too will help bring other people in through Rockfin, right? If you don't have to create an account and you can still watch the free content, and you can still put, content that you couldn't put on YouTube for free on Rockfin, that will help bring people in too. But you're right.
Odyssey's like that.
Yeah, Odyssey too. Exactly. Which is why I still go there, and I still stream on Twitch, even though Twitch, I don't know how much Twitch is working to promote my streams. I don't even look, but it's still a good, it's still there. And it's got a good live stream, a good quality live stream, and people can chat. So it works. There's places to go besides YouTube. Right. We're not dead yet. We haven't been silenced yet. We're just not on YouTube as much as we used to be, I'll say.
Yeah, because for a while I was like, well, where am I going to find her? And I finally signed up to Rockfin, so I don't have an excuse. It's just nice to be able to hit the share screen and project it onto my television.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that I can play it through Apple TV, because I am an Apple user, I know, but it's hard to get away from the evilness. Even Windows machines are just as evil as Apple. So,
yeah.
But to be able to put it on Apple TV and project it to the TV, yeah, that was good for me too. I was like, yes, this is awesome. And also the Rockfin app will play when you have it hidden, where YouTube, unless you're paying that premium, which is like $18 a month, if you close the app, it will stop playing.
Oh, I haven't tried it since.
Yeah. And if you have the Rockfin app and if you're a subscriber to, you can download stuff and play it offline. There's benefits to it. It's pretty good. They're working on stuff. It could be better, I admit, but it's not YouTube.
It's funny how Rockfin just came out of nowhere, where we were talking about Lighthouse for months and months and it never came.
Right. And it never came. And I wonder even if it ever will. I just keep seeing we're in testing, we're working on this. And I'm like, okay. I hope they get going, because the more alternatives there are to YouTube, then that's going to produce, a better place for us to go, where we can again start to maybe bring more people to the truth.
Yeah, because eventually these companies just start cucking, and like DLive,
Yeah.
they've gone to the other side, so that they're getting money to kick people off. So
Yeah.
that's what
They're
it takes.
compromised.
I mean, Google. I mean, they're not who we think they are.
No, they're a beast. It's a beast demon, most likely.
Yeah, you've been. I mean, your My Path to Flat Earth video kind of inspired me to create my own video. I think I'm slowly gathering materials to create a video, just how I came to this point in my life. Because I think it's good for people to stumble onto those kind of videos, and it's like, well,
It is, because it gives them something to relate to, gives something, and maybe people, and everybody's different. Something's going to be a different trigger for different people, right? Not the same thing is going to make people perk up and be like, what'd you say? It's not going to be the same for everybody.
Right.
So the more stuff that's out there, the more different ways that the message is relayed, the more people that we're going to be able to introduce to it. Yeah. So that's great.
Because not everybody can sit through a 2-hour show.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Which is why I made my first video only a half hour. It was even a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But that's why I didn't make it super long, because I knew that people who thought it was stupid wouldn't click on a 3-hour video or even an hour long video or anything like that,
Yeah, Globers have a very short attention span. They love the jump cuts, and they want flashiness. Like it's a professionally, like a TikTok video. That's about the extent of a flat Earth video that they want to see. Give me all the information in 60 seconds.
Right.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, I can't get the chat or I can't share the link. I don't know why. It won't allow me to copy the Zoom link.
Oh, so I can copy it. Do you want me to put it in chat?
We could. I mean, if you have time.
Oh, wait, I'm not a moderator. Or if you look in our chat, I copied it. The private chat, you can copy that link and put it in chat.
Okay.
There you go. You do that.
There it is. I'll make the tiny URL. Because I was going to be disappointed if my first live stream can't take any calls. Let's see. KGP. What's today? The 23rd.
Okay, while you do that, can I step away for 1 sec?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here. I see you guys in the chat. I just don't, this is my first time what do you call it? Multitasking. Let's see. Oh, do I even have my chat? Boom, there it is. You guys are welcome to call in. Thanks for the hearts. You guys are awesome. God, if any of you live streamers out there, you probably understand my pain, how difficult it is to do all these things and look at the chat screen, look at the Zoom and the OBS and all this stuff. It's so crazy. Yeah, so I definitely want to create my own path to flat Earth video, kind of like, everyone's probably pretty much have done it, like Jeranism, and Bob just posted one on Rockfin in YouTube this past week, and that was a really good video. And some of it were all clips from like 2017. And yeah.
Right.
I think, you know, everybody's path. I mean, everybody should do a video and put it out there and just share it with people, because there's a lot of people that think you're nuts because of how you present it. But if you doing it in a very planned, cohesive way, and you just kind of share, it's only coming out on the left side. Oh, that's not good. My audio is all jacked up. And it's probably been that way the whole time. Yeah, that's weird.
Audio problems are the bane of my existence.
Yeah, I've never had that issue before, but I've never live streamed. That's annoying. I can see that it's only projecting on one side. And there's no balance level thing. Monitor. I wonder if this fixed it. Because I think I had to have it on monitor and output. I don't know. You know, these tutorials only tell you so much. The rest of it you have to learn on your own.
I don't want to be too loud.
So I have an echo now? Great. There's always something. Audio is worse. Son of a bitch.
I know. Just put it back where it was. We'll deal with it.
Right. How about monitor off? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I know you can hear me on Zoom, but I don't know if you can, if they can hear me.
If they can hear you, okay.
I mean, it looks as if I'm broadcasting.
No, you're good. I can hear you over there, and I think you're good.
All right. I had it on monitor off, so that's the trick.
Monitor off, yes. If you have the monitor on, yeah, that can cause an echo. I learned that recently myself.
Oh, okay. Good to know. 5 by 5. Says awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, nobody's calling in. Give it another couple of minutes, and if anybody wants to join, let me see if I can have multiple people in here at the same time. Oh my goodness. Is Jaron broadcasting right now?
I thought he was not doing a Jaronism show today.
Oh, okay.
Although I don't know for sure. He could be.
What's up, Zulu? Let me adjust this. Oh, he's connecting to audio. And let me see.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yep. I can hear you.
Hey.
Thanks for calling in, man. How you doing today?
Sure. Pretty good. Had kind of a messed up day. Actually had to, I don't want to bring anyone down, but I'll just say it anyway. I was at a funeral for someone who is only a few years older than me, and I'm not so sure that it wasn't related to stickiness, if you know what I mean. So, but other than that, it was good. Everybody handled it well. Everybody's happy to see each other. And I got the link from Vanilla 18 Weeder that you guys were live and popped in and just listened. You guys are awesome. I love that you're sharing truth, you know. you're willing to be out here and tell people what you know.
Yeah.
You know, if
It
one
wasn't,
person listens.
it wasn't an easy thing for me because I was not ready for the criticism. And when you live in Los Angeles and you're surrounded by people who are bleep, they don't take new information very well. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, just I mean, I think the best advice is give them zero energy. Let them say whatever they want, whatever, doesn't matter. Zero energy. We don't have enough time in the day for the fun stuff we want to do. Don't waste it on any on them. And actually, Karen's one of the ones who taught me that. Don't give them energy.
Yeah. Well, because I used to give them a bunch of my energy. I used to let them get to me and I used to argue with them. And it wasn't until I started ignoring them that life got better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice.
So what do you got going, Zulu?
Not much. Just hanging out today. Relaxing right now. Waiting for Ceiling Fan Man tonight.
Yeah, and Jaren is streaming, but he's only streaming on Rockfin. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
And I have Monday Night Trivial with Waters Above on Monday.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Yeah, don't forget that.
You're getting a lot of attention on that show. It's working out really well.
Awesome. I think it's fun. I like that it's just totally not related to anything, that we're just being goofy and silly.
Yeah.
And I need it because it's been helping me. I'm Rampage ready still, but I'm not as angry as I've been, and it's all just the way I'm looking at things, Karen's advice. Actually, Good Times for All, Zach Zabala, that the video he did where he showed the what do you call it, the polarized lenses, and showed the other image. What did I believe, wasn't it at your house, Karen, that Cammy and Chris figured this out?
Yeah, well, they didn't figure it out at my house, but but Chris and Cammy, they were at my house and they did it in the driveway.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was amazing. That seriously changed my life. I am 100% completely different person in the way I'm looking at things. Because to me, I don't know about anybody else, but to me, it 100% right there in your face shows you this 3D world, what's going on, that there's a creator. I mean, it's right there. There's no space. What the hell? Come on. So it changed me. That's all I could say. And all you guys, all these years, since 2015 is when I've started finding you all, and I've been on this journey, and you guys have been amazing. Everybody.
Wow, 2015. That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah, I was on vacation, bored, and Mark's show came on. I have to 100% say it was Mark Sargent, because the clues came on, and I listened to it and was like, what the hell is this? And then put it on again and was like, what? And went to the beach. It was on my body did it. I woke up before the sun came up and went to the shore to see the sunrise. It came up and I was looking and I'm like, that's pretty darn flat. What the hell's going on here? Yeah. And that was it. I was pretty much on board, but I had to start doing research. I was like, I can't believe it. And it just broke everything, started to break down all the lies, everything, being able to see it now. It's unbelievable what they do to us. Unbelievable.
God, I feel like a baby truther because I came in, early 2020. I started watching videos at the end of 2019. That's when I discovered 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. And then that led to ODD TV and watching all his videos about faking space. And then I found Glowbusters, and that led me to, Wits It Gets It and Karen B and Jarenism. And Jeranism had so many videos out there, and I'm glad I got to see most of them before his channel got deleted. And and then someone created a mirror channel, so his videos are still up. They're just very hard to find. You know.
Is he going to move anything over to Rockfin or any of that stuff? Probably on Library, Odyssey or Odyssey. I would say Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah, Odyssey, whatever.
So it's probably over there.
Odyssee.
Yes. Good, right? Because it transfers over there.
Yeah.
Cool.
If it's under an hour, it'll transfer automatically if you're broadcasting over there. If it's over an hour, then you have to upload it manually.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Good to know. I just got to that site. Awesome.
That's why Alex Stein, he's been doing all his interviews under an hour just so it would automatically upload.
Nice. Hey, efficiency, my man. Efficiency. I love Alex. He is awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've been missing him this week because he's had company, so we're finding out.
Yes, his girlfriend, that poor girl that he's making eat all that horrible food.
Aw.
Well, maybe she's rubbing off on him because he's eating a little better.
Nice.
I hope so. Lord, I hope so.
Yeah.
He is a bad influence. I mean, I know firsthand because we went to Six Flags and we just ate a bunch of junk food.
Hey, once in a while is cool. What the hell, you only live once.
The nachos weren't so bad. They weren't too bad. I mean, the artificial cheese, like I would never put that in my body.
Right.
Voluntarily. But I did it for the sake of the show.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
For his mukbang. Yeah, good times.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm glad I live in proximity to some people. Like
where are you? You're in LA, you said?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell I thought you said LA. Sorry.
I mean,
You're
I
in
moved
Dallas.
from LA.
Okay. Oh, moved from LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks after the
Awesome.
lockdown, my wife lost her job within the week after the lockdown happened. And then, we kind of rode our bikes and drove, we had nothing to do but ride our bikes in the empty streets. And then slowly the homelessness started to just extrapolate, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, we need to get out of here. It's not going to get any better. And she was in event sales, and I just foresaw that that sort of business was not going to come back anytime soon. So
the event business is not the best business to be in right now.
Right. That whole market crapped out.
It's really not.
So all those people who dealt with hospitality, I mean, they were just unemployed, And
all the food workers.
Yeah.
My brother is one of them. He's coming up on the end of the unemployment that he was getting. So he's panicking. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Crazy.
Well, I mean, the way things are going, there's going to be another demic.
Oh yeah, they're building up for it. They're building up for their second wave, third wave, whatever wave, variant, whatever they want to call it. They're just going to keep hammering away at it until they think that they've done what they need to do. And, we just have to keep not doing what they want us to do.
You can see the workings in real time because, you go to the store and you see more people wearing, the muzzles, and it's like multiplying. So that they're watching TV.
Yep, they're doing it all over again. I was I was at a red light, and I look over to my left, and there is a guy there in his car by himself with a blue mask on, and I just looked at him. I said, and he had to have been able to read my lips. I said, "You are stupid for wearing that. What is wrong with you?" I mean, he couldn't not know what I said. and he just looked forward, like didn't want to make eye contact. It's absurd to me. Absurd to me.
I want to get a
even by
giant
their
decal.
logic. Even by their logic, what are you doing driving the car with that shit on?
Yeah. I really want to get a decal and put it on the back of my car, and it says, if you're wearing a mask, it'll show a picture of a mask. If you're wearing this, turn off your television.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good one.
I mean, the
I tell
propaganda
people all the time.
is just so bad.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And my friends who are still, who are in that world, who believe things, I try to get at them with their own logic. And I'm like, well, why would you go to CNN or MSNBC for medical advice? Wouldn't you go to at least doctors and get their opinions and talk to them? And isn't standard procedure always to get a second opinion?
Not in today's age.
They're just people. That doctor's just a schmuck who I partied with, in the dugout at high school. Yeah. There's nobody special. And half of them are morons. They're just there because they were able to memorize and regurgitate stuff for a test.
And most of them don't know anything about pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm. Or virology. Hello. Oh, you never even studied it. Now, give me a break.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother. He's a paramedic. I said, you know anything about virology? He goes, well, no, we were never taught any of that. And I'm like, well, then why would you just go along with what you were told and not do some research? And he was like, all right, you got me. And he's like, I'm not taking it. And he's NYPD and military. And he's like, I'm not taking that thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if he'll hold out, but it's just crazy.
I know it's a lot harder for the military because they just, I was in it for a while, and when they,
were you?
When they told us we had to take these shots, shots fired, they did it all in one pass, 4 shots at once. I was like, oh my God.
Did you get sick?
I almost fainted.
Yeah.
Because it was just so much all at once. But, luckily I was 19 years old, so I could, thankfully I could handle it.
Right. And the last time I got was the MMR, and that was in the early 90s. I had to get that for college. They were like, you have to have this. I'm like, why? I'm not even going to the main campus. I'm remote off campus getting my classes done. And they were like, oh, no, this has to be done for the state. That's weird. So they've been doing it all along. Yeah. I can't believe how many you need now. These children. Poor children. It's absurd.
Yep.
Hey, Karen, I wanted to ask you a question about the homeschool. Because I talked to Brian and about the program he does with his boys. And I offered it to my son. I said, how about I give you an option of, you never got to go back to that fucking school again. And we could stay here and you can just finish and you'll be done with high school before your friends. How about that? And he was like, well, social stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, but they're still your friends. In school, you don't see them all day. You don't see them till after school. He was like, well, yeah, good point. So, but I wanted to know what you're doing. If it's the same program.
I don't know. I've been looking at that program, but I haven't fully looked into it. Like my children, for us, the social thing hasn't gone so well because we live in the country. And my son does have a couple of friends that he's done stuff with, but my daughter literally has not had one friend over here ever. Right. She's never had another girl her age over here. And my son's done it a few times. And I don't know, she's got this friend that she was friends with, and I don't know how to get a hold of her. And that's my one issue is I'm trying to figure out, because we live in the country and that's the hard part for me. Like I want them to still interact with other children, but I don't want them going to a state school.
Right. Yeah. He interacts with them only online. and a couple of them, he goes over to their house, and they come here. That their families, their parents are mutual understanding, and they're cool with it. But I think he's got really 3 friends, and all his other friends are okay with him going over there, but they're all been vaxxed and all that shit, and I don't want him around them.
Well, I don't think you have to be worried about him being around vaccinated people.
Well, no, I don't mean that way. I meant psychologically getting in his head.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Well, that's definitely, I would worry about that too.
Yeah, well, that's a concern because just how, here, they even emailed our children behind our backs and asked them if they wanted the vax. I was like, who the fuck are they to do
Isn't
that?
that crazy? You see, this is why, I already have open conversations with my children about all this stuff and about what's in the in the magic juice.
Yeah.
And I tell them, if anybody offers you that, if anybody tries to do that behind your back, because I told them that they were having children do it behind their parents' back. And I said, anybody tries to offer you that stuff, you kick them in the nuts and you run away screaming.
Yes, absolutely.
And
yeah, he told us right away. He immediately, he was like, what is this? Why would they send me this?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We're
Just
definitely
keep
living
that
in a
communication
bizarre world.
open.
Yeah, it is a bizarre world.
Like, what
They're trying to
happened
make it legal
parental
here.
consent?
Yeah, they're trying to make it legal here in New York that 14 and up can make their own decision on that. And I'm like, no.
You can't buy alcohol.
No.
You can't go fight. You can't go sign up to the military, but you can get poison injected into your body.
If you're going to allow that, then you might as well
you can make decisions that could affect your life. Right. That's a life-changing decision. That's right up there with joining the military or any of that crap.
1,000%. Yeah, you might as well let my 15-year-old smoke cigarettes and drink booze. What is wrong with these people?
You need to talk to an adult that is your parents, to talk things out and make sure that it's safe and it's a good decision. And you should do it with your family, not teachers.
Yes.
Faculty.
Yes.
Well, that's the other thing. We need to take the raising of our children back out of the hands of the state. And bring it back into our own hands.
100%. Yeah, we've been lucky. We've always taught our boy that, you know what, we're never going to lie to you, but you still have to do your own research. You can trust me that I'm not lying. But I'm just dad. I could be wrong. So you still have to know what the hell's going on. You're responsible for your actions. So you need to know this stuff. I'm not saying that I would allow him to be at 15 to decide to do what he wants regarding this stupidness, because it's total craziness. But
what a beautiful thing to instill that in him, that responsibility for yourself, that taking responsibility for yourself. That's freaking huge. Yes. Especially at a young age, because that's right now, that's the time that the state is telling them how to not take responsibility for themselves.
Yes. No, just come and suck on the teat of the state. We'll give you checks. You just come and do what we tell you. Right. Yep.
I was reading, I can't remember where I saw it, but children didn't have to go to school until they were 7 years old, and then they only went to school until they were 14 or 15 at one point. I know in
North Carolina, legally, you don't have to put your child in public school until they're 7, or you don't have to officially be schooling your child until they're 7, from the age of 7 to 16 or 7 to 17. It's not even all the way up to 18.
Interesting, because developmentally, by the time we're 7 years old, we are our own person. We're who we are. There really isn't much change as to who you're going to be in the future. You might, have different things you do, but you're really that person. That's interesting.
Well, that's why the state wants the kids younger and younger.
They're doing preschool. They want them young, right?
Yeah, they do preschool, but really, legally, you don't have to do that. And that's when I actually found that out when I had my daughter, and she was my youngest, right? And I didn't want, and I, was a stay-at-home mom for quite a few years at that point, and I didn't want to send her to school already.
Right.
I was like, she doesn't need that. And you know what's crazy too is like she didn't start school. She didn't do preschool. She went to kindergarten, and get this. In kindergarten, the goal of the end of kindergarten is that your child can read and write at the end of kindergarten. Now, my daughter wasn't writing very much at the beginning of kindergarten, but she could already read. She could read. And the crazy thing is I did nothing to teach that child how to read.
Nice.
I don't remember doing anything. All of a sudden, she could read and spell. And I was like, who taught you that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Awesome.
I mean,
That's
children
awesome.
just naturally want to learn.
They're
you
so
don't even have
smart.
to try.
I'm mad. I mean, we did start with him early with reading. I mean, by the time he was 3, he was reading us stories at bedtime and things, but I didn't even know that you could start even earlier teaching them. That, within months, you can be communicating all kinds of stuff. I had no idea. And our son, we never did the goo goo gaga crap like from day one. Never. It was always, I'd hold him in my hand and walk around the house and be like, that's a chair. It's made out of wood. Wood comes from trees. Trees use photosynthesis to make food and and he remembers all that shit.
Oh, yeah. That's what homeschooling is. Except it's not the formal environment that regular school is, but it's the same thing. You're teaching them everything that you know, and it's not as structured as school. Like they have a whole curriculum laid out, like it's blanket for everybody. But it's like as things happen, as things come up, if which is what I've been doing with my children for the last year. It's like as things come up. Hey, Mom, can we make pancakes for breakfast? Sure. Get out the measuring cup. Get out this. What do we need? Blah, blah, blah. So then you're teaching them how to measure. They're learning fractions. They're learning chemistry because it's cooking, how things interact. Mom, can we use this instead of this? No, you can't use that because then this won't happen when we cook it this way. Then you're learning different things. I mean, and once I realized how much you could teach your child just by them being with you. They're learning everything. They're, and plus I run businesses from home. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business from home. So they're here, they're watching me produce videos. They're watching me put a budget together. They're watching me on the phone, make plans, call the hotel, They're learning firsthand what it takes to be responsible for yourself, to run a business for yourself, to be proactive in whatever you're doing, because basically when you're doing what we do, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to be proactive. You got to work for what you're doing, and that's what they're learning now. And I think I don't regret anything about taking them out of public school. I'll just say that.
No.
I don't regret it at all.
That's what I'm fighting for right now. That's what I absolutely want him to do. I know he has not done great with the seclusion, but the alternative is just it's horrendous. He can't go there. He cannot. He had first asked if he could go. I said, yeah, okay, but I need you to sit on the couch, put my pulse ox on your finger. Let's measure your oxygen, wear a mask for 10 minutes. You don't need, because when you go to school, you're going to have to carry your books, go up and down stairs and wear that thing. So he sat on the couch, and immediately, of course, your oxygen saturation drops. And I said, look, there you go. And you are in your developmental stage. You're a child. You have to have your full oxygen. We cannot deprive you for moments that is unhealthy for you. It's just ridiculous. And he was like, okay, I won't go. So he knew that it medically and logically it was stupid, but he's not doing well with the social. He wants to see his friends. So I take him. We do try to get him to see his friends, but I don't know what to do about that.
I know, so that's the tough part. And I've even thought about, because I have property here, I've even thought about maybe trying to do my own homeschool group where people come to my place. for
Interesting.
socializing, because then I can
Interesting.
be like in charge of it, and we could incorporate like outdoor stuff with it, sort of outdoor learning,
Right.
something,
Right.
science, something.
Right.
Right. Right. That way they're together and can socialize, work together,
Yeah,
teamwork.
learning, maybe build a shelter, do some sort of camping thing like scouts,
Right.
but not scouts, because we don't want to be a part of that
Right.
pedophilia.
I didn't realize how Masonic it was. Kyle's just about an Eagle Scout. He was almost there.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and he didn't finish. And then I realized, I'm like, holy shit, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at this. It's totally Masonic. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
I have
my
not
children
looked
were
into it.
doing that too.
Yeah.
They were in the Boy Scouts because the Boy Scouts were accepting boys and girls. So carry on,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't mind because that made it easier, because then I could just take the children all
Both.
to the same place.
Right.
And really, I mean, why does it doesn't, I didn't see the need for it to be segregated anyway via sex. I mean,
It should never have been. It should never have been.
I mean, everybody's
Should've-
learning basically the same stuff anyway, right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, aside from camping trips, obviously you're not going to go camping and have all the little boys and girls stay in this tent together unattended
Right,
or anything
right,
stupid like
right.
that.
Duh. Right.
But as far as like going to meetings, like with all the adults there and everything, I don't understand, why it's segregated anyway. Because
it's still segregated within. They had here, his troop had to have a separate female leader for the girls within the pack. No, what I forgot what the pack is. Is the scouts, right? No, troop. I forget one of those, but a separate group within it because they needed their own separate female leader.
I think it is a troop.
Troop. I mix them up. I mean, we enjoyed the camping. That was fun. And he's really good with his survival skills. He knows all that stuff. He's awesome with bow and arrow shooting. He won a cooking contest. He's all good like that.
that's
But
awesome.
He needs people.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Oh.
we could do Zulu. Maybe we could plan something where we get our children
I would
together and
do
we do
that.
something.
I would do that. And
That's a great idea.
what I'm doing is I'm selling my other car and I'm buying me and him 2 e-bikes so we can
Well, I was going to
ride
say,
around this
y'all
flat
could
plane.
come here
Yeah,
and hang
yeah.
out and camp with us.
I would do that. Let me keep talking to him. I'm
Okay.
getting him out of his shell. He was very resistant about
How old is
biking.
Kyle?
15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's a teenage boy.
Mhm.
Nah, that's not cool. Nah.
Well, my
You know.
children are considerably younger. My son is 11, but
Right.
so it won't be as fun for Kyle to come here.
I don't know. I don't know. Robert's humor is similar to Kyle's. I will say that. I've heard Robert tell me
I will
some
say
jokes
my
that
son-
Kyle told me. I'm like, oh shit, I've heard that before.
My son seems to have older friends, so that might work out. You never know. It might.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna get a couple e-bikes. I've been researching, looking at all different ones. I'm not promoting shit, but we're optioning for the name is Electric. It's spelled L-E, electric, not electric. And it has 20-inch 3-inch wheels, fat wheels. It goes up to 28 miles an hour, which is a class 3 e-bike.
That's cool.
It ships as a class 1 e-bike, which only goes up to 12 miles an hour, which is perfect for him as a beginner. And the trails here are only 15 miles an hour anyway. And once he gets advanced, then we can play around with that. Like, I mean, I'm an old fat man, but I can ride anything on 2 wheels. Been doing it forever.
Right.
So I'll take him out, and he was resistant, but now he's like, okay, because he's not going to have to work too hard, and we can go far. So yeah, I'm psyched.
You had me at fat wheels.
Nice. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool bikes. I looked at a whole bunch, and it folds in half, so you don't have to put it out on a carrier. I can put both of them in the back of my Tahoe.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't want to I mean, I like walking, but I don't want to run or anything. But I do need to get cardio exercise, right? So why not bikes?
Yeah, kids really need to have social interaction with people their own age.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole
I know it's hard.
pandemic is really
I know
separated people.
It's really trying to mess up my children's childhood, our children's childhood, which is one of the things that pisses me off the most about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also another reason why I when I do my events, children 12 and under are free, so that people can bring their children with them and it doesn't cost them extra.
Yeah.
You know,
It is so
it's a
awesome.
safe environment.
Awesome.
And it's a safe environment.
They're learning
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Seriously. I mean, I met so many families there. They were awesome. They're great.
And these little children that come to these events, they're going to remember being surrounded by a bunch of adults who knew the world was bullshit and treated them, you know, kindly, and laughed and played in a horrible time. And I feel like those types of things are going to be, you know, a huge impression on these children, and that we're leaving this world to, right?
Yes.
So they need to have that. They need to have that memory inside them where, like, yes, I remember when the world sucked and the flat earthers were having a good time.
We used to go to the flat earth conferences and it was awesome.
Yeah. Mom and Dad were cool as hell. They took us there. That's awesome.
Right. And we partied and everybody else was miserable. That's what they need to know, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it really is. And I mean, I wish we could do them closer together, but it's so needed just to get there. I mean, I get so much energy from everybody, just the positive. I mean, I used to joke about, oh, what are you, a tree hugger and this and that? And I'm like, well, yeah, you know what? I do hug trees and I do love people. And it's just freaking awesome because they're great. You know, I mean, we all think alike. We're all open, you know, and to each other. And if we don't agree with something, it's not an issue. Whatever. Yeah. Okay, cool. Did you want a beer? You know, okay, got it.
Since when is it wrong to hug a tree anyway?
Right. Well,
it's
from
not.
That society, I always thought that was always, you know, that's not cool to be all into nature and that. It's so stupid. The mentality we grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, following sports and
I mean, really tried hard to screw us up, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, even back then. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, the original tree huggers are now the most indoctrinated.
Right? They're the ones we're arguing with.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're like, shit. But Greta, global warming.
How dare you?
They believe all the programming. They don't question it at all.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, they were the first ones to protest against the government and the man, you know, big corporations.
And the first ones to roll over.
Yeah. Now they're doing exactly what they were fighting against. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Now they're fighting for the very beast they thought they were fighting against, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tables have turned. It's insanity. Well, I just got a warning. I got 5 minutes on Zoom. It says that I've used up the 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But we've been on for longer than 40 minutes. How's that happen?
2 hours and 13 minutes.
That is crazy.
Definitely used more than 40 minutes, I guess.
Right?
So silly.
Oh, my God.
Well,
I know Zoom, and that means it's going to close us down.
Yeah. So we probably should say our goodbyes. And
yes.
We'll do this again soon enough.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
We always have Jaronism and Baby Truther show, and we have Strange World and all your shows. So it's nice to be able to meet up together and talk this out, and you know, hopefully, if someone can get through this full 2 hours, and wake up, you know, because we're all just people, just like everyone else. We all had to go through our denial phase of waking up and looking at the truth and doing our own investigation. I mean, otherwise we'd just be, another glober out there, just blind to the truth. So the truth is out there. All you have to do is just open your eyes and look and freaking just challenge, question what you've been told, because it doesn't make any sense. I remember teaching my 8th graders and showing that whole Vsauce video, and as I'm showing it, I was like, this doesn't make any logical sense at all, because I was doing the math. I'm like, how can we possibly observe these calculations when we can't even, there's nothing out there that would prove that we're spinning and flying through infinite space and all that. So none of that really never sat well with me. I just didn't know how to find the answers, because all we were fed is what we're told through education and through books and the scientists, because they know.
Right? They're smarter than us.
Yeah.
They have cool jackets, man.
Yeah. They got a lab coat. Ooh. They got a PhD. They know.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, it's just philosophy. Yeah. All right, guys.
That's
well,
right.
I appreciate you coming on, and then thanks for Zulu for calling in, and Karen for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
I just want to close it out and say thank you so much, and God, I'm so glad to be a part of this whole family, and you guys are awesome.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and it was fun, and just thanks for doing it. Thanks for having us all on your show, and thanks for speaking the truth and just being part of it. Thanks for being here. That's one of my favorite things to say. Thanks for being here, because if you're here, you're part of the group, right?
Yeah.
You're here for a reason. So just thanks for being here.
And I don't know what I was scared of. Stepping into an area where people might think I was just a complete nut job, but once you're on this side, you realize how nuts everyone else is.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Yeah, and it's like and I'm just surrounded by just these zombies. The zombie apocalypse. That was no joke.
Nope. We're living through it right now.
I'm glad I've had training. I've been watching zombie movies since the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm prepared.
Except the zombies don't look quite the same.
But at least they're the slow kind. They're the slow, dumb kind.
They're all slow, that's for sure.
Yes, those are the easier ones to deal with. I don't like those fast ones. They stick with you.
Yeah, and most of them don't even carry guns.
True that.
So they're less dangerous. Oh man! All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the show now, and you guys have a great weekend.
All right, thank you. You too. Thanks for having me again, and appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.